So folks, it's the end of 2021 and what a year it has been. Obviously the global situation, everyone knows what's going on in the world right now, so I'm not gonna bang on about it, but we've tried so many different gins together. So to wrap the year up, we're gonna go through the top 5 gins that I've tried, my absolute favorites on the channel this year, and we're starting right now. G'day folks, my name's Tim. Welcome to Tim and Tonic, where we discover the world's best gins and how to drink them. I'll have to check it out, but I think if I add them all up, including all the reviews plus the comparisons, I've gone through 30 different gins now. And don't worry guys, there's more of that where it came from in 2022. You're probably thinking, I already know what your top gins are because you've got them right here. Well, these aren't it, so don't get too unexcited. These ones are my honorable mention gins. So guys, in no particular order, the honorable mentions go to the Roku gin, which from Japan, that yuzu, absolutely delicious. Then the Ambleside Mandarin gin from down in South Australia, another citrus powerhouse. A bit more of a flavored gin, that one though, rather than it just being distilled. Then another citrus one. I'm sensing a theme here. Actually, all 4 of these gins got a good whack of citrus in it. We've got the rarest dry gin from 4 Pillars, which is a bergamot one. And then we've got finally the Green Ant gin, which has those little ants as we talked about. I'll link all the reviews down in the description below to all the gins that we talk about today. You can check out the reviews later. Now, I've got one gin that isn't here that's kind of stuck in purgatory that I wanted to mention. That's the Never Never Triple Juniper gin. And the reason why I say stuck in purgatory because I finished the whole bottle. So I promised myself for this video, I was only gonna do bottles that I still actually have. So there we go. If I'm completely honest, the Never Never Triple Juniper gin probably would have been in my top 5 had I actually had it here. So kudos Never Never for making great gin. Okay, so now we've got these ones out the way, let's clear them off and start talking about the top 5 gins of 2021. Okay guys, so starting with number 5, we have Karu's Affinity Gin. So why did I love this gin? Well, it didn't try to be anything overly complicated, but it had a very complex flavor profile at the same time. It uses that fresh lemon myrtle, which they grow on their own property, Nick and Ali Ayres, which was absolutely delicious. I've said on the channel a few times, really hard to balance lemon myrtle, but these guys just do such a great job of that. It's just a really great contemporary take, Aussie version of that London Dry style of gin. And now from what I understand, these guys also have their Lightning Gin, which is their kind of Navy strength version, which recently won the world's best gin. So this one of the world's best, absolutely as well. So let's remind myself of what this one smells like. Oh yeah, just like I said, juniper, classical, but then you've got that lemon myrtle kick, a few other things going on there, absolutely amazing. Oh, everything is just so well balanced. The juniper, obviously front and center, that's exactly what you want. But you know, there's just so many layers of complexity. At 44%, I can only imagine what that Lightning Gin tastes like. Maybe that one's for the channel next year. Cheers, guys. Okay, so let's just get rid of this one. Alrighty, and moving on to number 4, we have Threefold's Aromatic Gin. Now, I think this was actually the 2nd review, if I'm not mistaken, that I did on the channel, so very early days, but it just blew me away with all the different layers of flavor. Again, you'll hear me say it time and time again, complexity, because that's what you want, you know. Gin is a spirit that most of the time gets mixed, so if it's not big and bold enough, it just gets a little bit lost amongst all the other flavors. And while yes, it's complex, this is just one that does what it says on the tin. Grapefruit, rosemary, lavender, absolutely delicious. Let's give it a taste again. Let's see what Threefold has for us on the nose. Oh, first thing, the grapefruit just jumps out, so big, so bold. It's really juicy. I just want to get in there and drink it. So let's do it. Oh, the juniper, again, it's there, it's front and center, which, you know, if I'm a bit of a juniper head, so it's always what I'm looking for first is that presence of juniper, because after all, juniper is what makes gin gin. But you know, the grapefruit just elevates it to another level. Rosemary, you'll hear me talk about it all the time, but I say that juniper kind of has a little bit of a woody rosemary vibe to it. So, you know, having the rosemary in there to just elevate the juniper and, you know, that grapefruit citrusiness to cut through everything, absolutely amazing. They've done a really good job to just balance everything, especially lavender, which is one of those botanicals that can just be super overpowering, but amazing work, guys. Threefold's Aromatic Gin, absolutely delicious. Cheers. And moving on. In third place, we have Wolf Lane's Tropical Gin. Maybe I'm just repeating myself now and banging on about it, but again, this is one that I love because it doesn't ever lose sight of what makes gin gin, which is juniper. But then at the same time, it creates that sense of time and place, you know. It's all about cans, that tropical environment, and just adding that mango, that little slice of tropical paradise. It's just absolutely amazing. Let's give this one a taste. This one I did more recently, so I'm pretty familiar with what it tastes like, but you know, I'm always up for drinking more gin, especially when this is one of my favorites. Let's see what Wolf Lane has for us. I don't know if you can notice a theme here, but all the ones that I'm picking as my top 5, there's hardly any gin left, so they must have been really good. Okay, Wolf Lane Tropical Gin, let's go. Oh, straight away, the mango, it's just so juicy. That's what made me love this gin in the first place. Just that juiciness from the mango and the grapefruit. Oh, so good. Oh, yes. The mango is a little bit more subtle on the taste than on the nose, but it's definitely still there. It gives this really beautiful, creamy, almost mouth coating like texture. I always say 2 things that make a gin go from good to great. First is the texture, the way it feels in your mouth, and second is the finish, how it tastes and how long you taste it for as it dries down on your tongue. So Wolf Lane Tropical Gin in number 3, thank you very much. So guys, we're nearly there. Number 2 gin that I tried on the channel for 2021 is Applewood's gin. Now, there was quite a few reasons why I absolutely loved the Applewood gin, but you know, first of all, above all, taste is king. Taste is what wins it for me. If it's a good gin, it's gotta taste good. Don't care about the story, don't care about anything else. The gin has to be amazing, and this one is absolutely delicious. But on top of that, these guys do such a great job of heroing all the Australian native botanicals. You know, like so many different gins now have Australian natives, and I kind of feel like sometimes, you know, they're just there for the sake of it. But these guys, everything there is for a purpose, plus you know, they ethically and sustainably source everything, so kudos to you, Applewood. Alrighty, so Applewood was, again, it was one of the early ones that I tried, but let's remind myself what Applewood tastes like. Again, another one that's not got much gin left in the bottle. Oh, so fresh, so vibrant. Actually, now I come back to it, I get more of the wattle seed, that kind of roasted coffee kind of smell. It's absolutely amazing, like when you come back to a gin or when you come back to anything, you can get different flavor notes. It just, you know, it's a testament to how complex this gin is. But on top of that, I get really fresh, limey notes, minty notes. They're the things that made me absolutely fall in love with this gin in the first place, so let's taste it. Oh, yes, so many layers. Like I said, the peppermint gum for me is actually quite strong. Super fresh, super minty, almost mentholy, which, you know, just brightens up all the juniper notes, the gin notes. But on top of that, there's a lovely zesty kind of flavor from some desert limes that they put in here. It almost tastes a little bit floral, but then at the same time, there's also earthiness, there's richness. Literally, this is a gin that has everything in it. So guys, Applewood gin, absolutely amazing. Cheers. So, I don't know how we're gonna top that one, guys, but Applewood was number 2, so what is number 1? Well, number 1. Hang on, actually, I've just realized that every single gin that I've chosen so far as my top 4, they've all been Aussie gins. Now, that wasn't like on purpose, that was completely by coincidence. And you know, I truly believe that here in Australia, you know, I'm Australian, I live in Australia, we're very spoiled. Like, Australia's become one of the best gin producing countries in the world for sure. And probably a lot of you watching wouldn't even get the chance to try half of those gins that I've just shown you now. So hopefully sooner or later, I think some of them like the Applewood I know is in the UK now, but they're starting to make their way out. So definitely if you can, try Aussie gin because it's absolutely amazing. Now I know there's plenty of other gin in the world, and so far, you know, because I've been in Australia, I've focused on the Aussie gin and I've done the big name global stuff. But you know, there's gonna be a lot more coming on Tim and Tonic, so if you wanna send me a bottle or if there's another bottle you want reviewed, please let me know. Give me all your recommendations in the comments below. Alrighty guys, so little drum roll. Number 1 gin of 2021 from the Tim and Tonic channel is Prohibition's Navy Strength Gin. So keeping with the theme here, another Aussie gin. This one's from down in South Australia. And the reason why I love this gin, well, again, it's just so well balanced. It's got a bit of everything. And now this one is also Navy strength. So it comes in at 58%, so it packs a bit of a punch. Now, even though it's so strong, it's still supremely, so easily drinkable, which is absolutely amazing. Like you can just drink it neat and you definitely don't feel like it's 58%, but you still get all those layers of complex flavors. Plus it's got a good kick of some savory botanicals in there too, which I absolutely love. So let's pour this one out, taste it again, and see what Prohibition has for us. Cheers, guys. Oh, again, citrus first, juniper is a given, plus saline, saltiness, makes you want to come back for more. There's just a roundness to it. I know they use some macadamia in here. Just, you know, it just completes everything. Oh, you just could keep nosing this gin forever and ever. It's just so good. You know, Navy Strength Gin, I'm always a bit of a sucker for it. It just delivers so much more flavor than your regular strength gin. But, you know, I think the only other one I've done on the channel was the Esther Strong Gin, which, to be honest, it probably should have been up there close to this top 5, if not in the top 5 as well. But once again, I finished the bottle. You know, I feel bad for some of the gins which are closer to the beginning where I finished the bottle, which totally deserved to be in the top 5, but just narrowly missed out purely because I don't have the bottle here to taste it with you. I mean, it's been so hard to pick this top 5. Like, it's like asking anyone to pick their favorite child because, you know, I just love so many different gins. Anyway, enough waffling on, let's chase the Prohibition Navy Strength. Oh. Yeah, like I said, 58%, but you really don't feel it. Oh, it's just so mouth coating. Oh man, it's so good. It's got everything you want in it. It's got that little bit of saltiness, which it's kind of like seasoning. I know there's probably not salt in it, but you know, you get that effect from those savory maritime seagrass botanicals. But then it's got some really bright citrus in there too. It's got the juniper. It's just got everything. And then when you put it in a cocktail, it kind of just explodes with flavor. Like, really, it doesn't get much better than this gin. I have to say it. That's why I picked it as my number 1. So guys, the Prohibition Navy Strength Gin, the last one of 2021. If you want to check out any of the reviews of the gins I've talked about today, check out the links in the description below. Otherwise, the review for this one, the Prohibition Navy Strength Gin, is popping up here. Thank you so much for everyone who's watched me this year, 2021. I'll see you in 2022. Cheers.